Hi guys, it's Tara and welcome back to Crafting with Curly Cues. Today I am so incredibly excited to be presenting to you my Curly Cues Cake Smash video hop. So as many of you probably already know, it is the 1 year birthday of my YouTube channel and the celebration of the 5,000 subscriber milestone. So I have put together this video hop for you guys to give you some phenomenal inspiration from some of my very favorite crafters, YouTubers specifically, and to offer a chance for you guys to get some goodies as a thank you for helping to contribute to the success of my channel, because I could not do it without you guys. So sit back, relax, enjoy, hop along, get inspired, and don't forget to leave those comments on every video so that you're entered to win goodies from one of 5 fabulous sponsors. We have Lawn Fawn, Pretty Pink Posh, Create a Smile Stamps, Mint Owl Studio, and Gerda Signer Designs, all sponsoring today. And so lots of opportunity to win. Leave your comments before midnight on July 17th, Pacific Standard Time, and I'll draw the winners on Monday. So anyway, so super stoked. Can't even hardly handle it. I've been waiting for this forever. And so I am making a project here, as you can see. So let me tell you a little bit about that. So I started with the Fantastic Friends stamp set from Lawn Fawn, and I have not inked this stamp set up. I did a little bit of coloring on it a couple days ago for part of the 30-day coloring challenge that Kathy Rakusin is doing. But other than that, I've had this set for, I don't know, since it got released, however long ago that was, and I haven't made any cards with it. And I really, as I was coloring that piece for the 30-day coloring challenge, I was like, you know what? I really want to say a great big, huge thank you to everybody out there for helping me with the success of my channel. So I decided that this set would be great to bust out for this particular video. And I decided to make a multi-window shaker card using my fuse tool. So we'll get into that part later, but for now what I'm doing is a whole bunch of Copic coloring. So as you could see, I stamped my images on some Nina 110 pound solar white cardstock, and I used some Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. This is rapidly becoming my favorite ink to use with Copic coloring. I just love the impression that I get, and I love that it doesn't have any bleeding or anything. It's really great to use. So I went ahead and stuck, these images are pretty teeny, so I stuck 4 or 5 of them on my acrylic block and then stamped them all at once. And I am making 2 cards here today, and I just wasn't sure how crazy busy my aquariums were going to get, so I severely overstamped. I literally needed I don't even know if I used half of all of these images. So, but anyway, putting more than one stamp on your block at a time is a really quick way to just get a whole bunch of images if you're going to be doing some mass coloring and cutting and such. So that's why I keep turning my paper all around, because to get them all to fit on the acrylic block, I kind of put them every which way. So I keep spinning my paper around so that I can see my critters the right way. So if you've ever wanted to see this stamp set colored, you're welcome, because I'm coloring the whole darn thing. I think there's only maybe 1 image in it that I'm not coloring. So I don't know what my camera's doing there. It's going in and out of focus. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to color in 1 set of all these little critters for you guys, and then I do off-camera color in the rest of them. I have been doing a lot of Copic coloring, so for the 30-day challenge, the 30-day coloring challenge, I've decided to focus this time on just coloring with my Copic. So Kathy Rakusin does these challenges every so often, and in the past I've tried to participate, and it just as much as I love to color, it was just too much of a too much pressure I put on myself, because I was well, I have to make a card every single time I do the coloring, and it was just I don't have time to make a card every single night. I really, really wish that I did, but I don't. So this time I am just coloring. So I'm doing these just coloring on Nina White, and then I'm posting the picture of just the coloring. And so I decided also that in addition to just coloring, I would take the pressure off by limiting it to Copic. So I have been doing a lot of zig coloring lately, and so I decided that I wanted to do some practice with my Copics. And so I'm picking up on cool things. You can see here on this one, when I first put those colors down, they looked really far apart, and maybe it wasn't going to blend. But then when I do the tip to tip technique on that little piece of purple seaweed there, you can see that it really blends together, and you get that extra color by touching the tip of the lighter marker to the darker marker. And so that's the kind of stuff I'm really working on practicing, because I don't know, I want to get better with my Copic markers. So, and it's pretty cool. Like when you start to realize what these markers can really do when you start really putting them through the ringer, it's pretty phenomenal. Like, I mean, it's kind of making me look like I'm an awesome colorist, and I really, like, compared to some people out there, I am not even barely a beginner. So it's pretty cool. I'm pretty excited about the progress that I've made so far. And the other thing that's kind of changed the more that I use them is I used to be like a total snob about putting down my lightest color first and then going in and doing my shading. Well, as I'm trying to make sure I color every night, I don't have as much time, and it really is faster just to put your darkest colors down first and then just blend them out, and I find you don't have to go back over it as much. So it might not be as easy to instantly blend because your paper's not wet, but I also feel like it saves time in the fact that I don't feel like I'm recoloring the same area like over and over and over. So I've kind of like inadvertently, without meaning to, switched to a putting down my darkest color first Copic colorer. So there's no wrong or right answer, obviously, but I don't know. It's just funny how when you play with something, you'll end up doing it a little bit differently. So for this little sandcastle here, I did use a bunch of dot technique kind of over the top of the coloring to give it some texture because I just wanted it to look like a sandcastle. I don't know if it's supposed to. Do you put sandcastles in fish tanks, or are they usually like neon or something? I don't know. So now that my coloring is done, I ran that through my brother's Scan and Cut and cut all those out. I chose to cut them right up to the line, and the Scan and Cut does a pretty darn good job, but it does leave a little tiny bit of white here and there, so I just left that because frankly I did not have the patience to sit and trim off all the little tiny white spots, and it saved me so much time that it cut them out at all that I was just like, I don't even care. So I decided that I wanted some sand at the bottom of my little fish tanks. So I debated like getting out a sand stamp and stamping some little hills, or getting out like a die and die cutting some little hills and then coloring them. Well, I was like, I don't need it to be fancy. You're barely going to be able to see it. It's just kind of setting the scene. So I just took my scissors and some scrap of that Nina that I had used earlier, and I just cut a little wave pattern. And now I'm just taking the same color Copics that I used to color the sandcastle and coloring it in and then adding that dot technique over the top. So I didn't super stress about blending perfectly, partially because I knew I was going to be putting the dot technique over the top, which kind of makes it you don't really notice anyway, and partially because you're literally going to see such a little itty bitty section of this like on my card that I wasn't super stressed about it. So I did 2 pieces of that because I am doing 2 cards. And now I'm going to move on to my aquarium background. So I used some Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle dies to cut out some Nina Solar White, and these are slightly larger than the opening in my shaker card windows, which I'll show you later. And I am going to blend these out with some Distress inks. Now I am using Distress inks. Oh yeah, there's my shaker window. I used the Pretty Pink Posh Storybook 1 die to create the window in another Lawn Fawn stitched rectangle that was slightly bigger than this one. So I am doing this in my favorite watercolor combo right now, which is Blueprint Sketch and Peacock Feathers. And then this was a big panel, so I went ahead and put some tumbled glass on the top just to lighten it out a little bit more even. And I am doing this on Nina Solar White, which I got a pretty darn good blend, and I don't always get a good blend when I'm blending on Nina Solar White. The Distress inks blend a lot better on like watercolor paper or Distress cardstock. The trick I found is that I start, and you can't really see because I had to speed everything up so quickly to get it all in the video, but I'm actually starting my blending like way not even close to the paper. Like I'm just blending all over my craft mat there, and then easing it onto the paper, and that seemed to help get the bulk of the ink off my blending tool before it touched my paper, and it didn't leave like those big harsh like ink splotches all over that I hate when you're blending on Nina. So now that those panels are done, I am taking my Distress sprayer, and you never saw my Distress sprayer because I am holding it that far away from my panels because I just want a really subtle look, and I spritzed that and then dried it for a little bit of texture on those backgrounds. So now let's get to that shaker window. So I just took a basic stamp storage pocket from Avery Elle, and I can fit both of my shakers on that pocket. So I like to do my fuse tool on top of craft foam, and this is in no way endorsed by anybody but me. It's probably not even safe. I don't know if putting that hot on the craft foam is good for it or not. So, you know, don't rush right out and do this if you think you have any concerns at all. But I traced the windows of my panel onto that craft foam with just a pencil, and I'm using that as kind of my template for my fuse tool. So first I did the 3 sides. I did the bottom and then 2 sides. I had to cut some off the top because that was the side of the stamp pocket, so I didn't have an opening. So I just got rid of that so I had an opening. And then I'm stuffing this bad boy full of some gorgeous Pretty Pink Posh sequins. Pretty Pink Posh and Lawn Fawn are sponsors in our video hop. Oh, woohoo! And then once I had them in the bottom, I went ahead and put it back over that template, and then I very carefully ran my fuse tool over the part in between the windows. So I sealed off that bottom window, and then I ran it up in between the 2 top windows. You should see me over here. I'm literally moving my hand like to show you guys. I'm really like, I'm a gestury person, but obviously you can't see that, but I just cracked myself up because I'm totally doing that. But so then I shoved some more sequins in those 2 separate pockets, and then I just sealed off the top with my fuse tool. And now I have 3 separate pockets in my shaker, and that ensures that there's always going to be lots of sequins in each window that you're seeing here through my die cut. So super easy to do. It was actually way faster than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated, but it really wasn't. By drawing the template on the craft foam, that really, really helped me. So just a fun trick with using your fuse tool. So now I'm going to start assembling these puppies. And they actually turned out both different because I kind of forgot something here on this first one. So I put some ATG around the outside of the frame, and then I added a little bit of multi-matte medium to the back of those little tiny spots because I do want my shaker pocket to adhere there. So, and then I'm going to pop that right on the back. And the part that I forgot was I wanted the sand in front of that shaker pocket, and I totally spaced putting it on there. So I'm like, oops. And you can see I get this like halfway adhered, and I'm like, oh, I don't have any sand. So I kind of hesitate, don't adhere the rest. And now I'm going to very carefully do a little bit of wonky card surgery. This is absolutely not the easiest way to do this, but you know, you improvise, right? Like you do what you got to do to get the card to come out. And I'm instead just going to stick that sand behind the shaker windows, which is totally fine. It's just a different look. The shakers are just in front of the sand now instead of behind. As you can see, I totally filled my shaker pockets up really full. I wanted just lots of sequins. I wanted that to kind of be the main part of the aquarium. Those colors in there, there's 6mm iridescent ocean spray, 4mm iridescent blue lagoon, and 4mm sparkling clear. And let me tell you, the Pretty Pink Posh iridescent sequins are dreamy, guys. Like, they are so sparkly and amazing. So you can see on the second one, I remembered to put my sand on, and this is the look I had in mind when I created the sand, but it's totally cool. I just got 2 different looks. And the bonus of the sand being on there first is it actually provided more space for me to put adhesive on the back of the sand and get my shaker window really good and stuck down. So I'm just then going to put adhesive all around the back, and I could put some in the middle on the back of that sand and the upper windows and stick that down to the front of my card. So you could totally do this with a traditional shaker and not use a fuse tool. I love the fuse tool because not only could I create the separate windows really easily, but these cards are really flat, which is shocking because there's all kinds of shaker bits in there, but they're nice and flat and they go through the mail like a dream. So that is one advantage to the shaker, or excuse me, to the fuse tool shakers, in my opinion. And now that I've done multiple windows, I'm actually pretty excited to start doing, like, I want to try some shaped shakers. Like, how cute would, like, Valentine's Day, you do like a heart, and like I kind of want to do like a Christmas tree shaker with my fuse. So all these ideas are running through my head now. So now that I've got the basic card done, all I get to do now is decorate, which is the fun part, right? So I used a little banner from the Lawn Fawn Stitch Journaling Dies die set, and it was the perfect size for my little thank you sentiment, which is absolutely what this blog hop or video hop, excuse me, is for. It's to say thank you to you guys for all of your support, all of the incredibly kind comments, all of the encouragement, all of the suggestions. Like, you guys continue to blow me away with just your awesomeness. Like, it's incredible. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So I stuck some fish on there, and I'm just using my Zig glue pen, and I do kind of hold it down for a second because on top of the plastic, it just kind of wants to slide around. So I just hold it there for a minute till that glue can really grip, and then I like moved on. And it doesn't seem like I'm doing that because I'm super sped up here, but I am actually doing that. So each card kind of got a slightly different layout, you know, because I'm just playing with the little fishes and creating aquariums and yada yada. Each one got a couple little fish friends on the inside because, you know, I colored like 8,000 of these things, so why not? I added some Spectrum Noir sparkle on top of the fish, and I gave some little white details, and I put some black glaze pen on their eyes to make them pop, and then I finished it up with 2 itty bitty enamel dots from Create a Smile Stamps, also a sponsor in our video hop. So that is my project for today. Thank you guys so very much for stopping by and celebrating with me. Don't forget to check out the description box below because I'm going to list all the other fabulous, amazing, talented designers that have agreed to hop along and celebrate with me. And if you leave a comment on each video by midnight Pacific Standard Time on Sunday, July 17th, you'll be entered to win one of 5 fabulous prizes from our super generous sponsors. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye!